Hello there. GM Lurch Lurchington here with another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. Narset,
Yes.
we do now have to make I believe it is formidable, or is it whichever one is after hard, but not after the one after hard, as you have continued down now into the depths, over the edge of the continental shelf, proceeding deeper into the black, crushing depths of the ocean, past more and more alien sea life. So it's going to be a 4 purple discipline check for you to have, continued your bending.
Oh, I was gonna say for duration it just says I have to.
That got you
dedicate
all the
one-
way, right? That got you all the way from the beach down and across the continental shelf here to the edge. Instead of having to make multiple checks to do it every 50 meters or so. And now you're,
doing
exactly getting your way all the way down.
next 500 meters.
Yeah.
Let's see if I I was gonna say if I scroll high up enough, I should be able to refine it. Or do you want a different one?
You're going to roll, it's going to be your discipline plus your force die against 4 purples.
4 purples this time.
Yes, to make a daunting discipline check. Right, so you did not succeed, but you can use your light side points to turn it into a success because the force is with you and all around you. So you're able to convert those. You can convert one. Well, no, how many pips? You need 1 to alter and then a second to alter impassable, which means you will have to flip a destiny point and take a strain in order to use one of those dark side pips to be able to succeed and activate alter impassable.
Then let's do that, and then
To proceed.
I'll be 5 out of 15 strain.
Okay. All right, excellent. So Narset, the strain on your mind from the, reality of just how much water is above and all around you, and how alien these creatures of the deep are as you proceed down in the soft glow of the bubble of light created by the fusion lantern. You're just following, you see the legs of the Salvac's chief just piercing the gloom in front of you as you continue to follow him down and down. But eventually the slope levels out, and then you journey even further for what feels like hours and hours across the flat plain of this alien planet. As you look up, you cannot even see the glow of the sun through the crushing depth anymore, even after you turn off the fusion lantern for only a second, and the dark rushes in around you. But finally you stop at the edge of yet another vent. This one, unlike the one providing the lush greenery of the continental shelf above, glows red its depth as you look down into it. But it is still producing life all around its lip, and you see small, pale crustaceans and weird alien fish darting around the small vents at the lip here. The Salvac's shaman stops and stands here at the edge of the rift and waits for you to recover yourself. Go ahead and make a discipline or a cool check against nothing to recover some of your strain now that you're done with this leg of the journey. And then he is going to tell you about the beginnings of the climb.
Right. Do I regain?
You regain 2 of your strain back.
3, so 3 out of 15.
Yep. As you center yourself here, the Salvac shaman moves towards you and lowers his staff. Now you can see down here at the rift that this twisted 8-foot staff is made of petrified matter from down here at the edge of the rift, and you see other such tall, spindly protrusions that have built up along these vents at the edge of the rift. And he must have come down here and snipped this staff free with one of his claws, perhaps hundreds of years ago. He reaches forward with it and touches the staff against your forehead again so that he can communicate down here with you. And you hear in your mind as he begins, says,
"In the beginning, there were only crabs living in the darkness. The first Salvax journeyed here to the edge of the rift and found life, and taught those crabs that they did not have to eat the dead which fell from above, that they could feast on life and warmth. This Salvax returned and taught those crabs."
He gestures down to the tiny crabs living in the meager grasses, feeding on the trickle of nutrients from this vent. Says,
"This was what the first Salvax taught us.
he gestures back.
The long journey that you just came.
He says,
But this is not enough. The second Salvax set out. He journeyed upward.
he gestures along the path that the bubbles pouring out of this rift take up into the blackness beyond the light cast from your lantern, and says,
The second Salvax sought what was above.
and then he turns and begins, as if it's no big thing at all, the hours-long walk back up the slope of the continental shelf. So the camera pauses on Narset for a moment when she realizes she just came all the way down here to see the place from the story, but that so far it's the same story that Crab Drogo had told, but he's apparently he's bringing you to Mount Sion, and then he turns and heads off into the gloom, and basically Narset has to turn and follow him back up.
Possible to break off a piece of the spindly shit.
It will be an incredibly difficult physical task for you, but you might have a meter of plasma that can help. So you can flip a destiny point and then make a 6 purple athletics check to do it.
Do it.
Or you can use your lightsaber. You know what I mean?
No, just
can I use my lightsaber to look? Can I find a spindly piece that's like wizards,
the right height for you.
Scaled
Are
down
Are you
to
going
a
for
human.
a lightsaber staff, man? That'd be
You're going
sick.
for one
I'm
that
just
would be
looking for a wizard
appropriate
staff,
height
like
for
a bow
you.
staff side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He wants a walking stick so
absolutely.
that he can relate to the Salvax, and he can be like, hey,
So-
hey,
Narset,
Yeah.
you
Guardian thing.
you can make a survival check to find an appropriately sized staff here among these growths. Yes, it is going to be hard with 2 setbacks. So purple, setback, and you're going to use your survival skill.
It's bullshit.
Anything that you try to do out here in the wilderness, my Dathomiri witch, is the survival skill. When you go back, if you go back to visit the Coven
And
on
one
Dathomir,
success, but 3 threat.
it's going to be all a success with 3 threats. So you
Okay.
take 3 strain
You found it.
as you search around here, but you find that hole. It takes you
It's
quite
3
a
strain,
while.
that's
You have to
okay.
get down on your knees here on this volcanic seabed and really get down there with your lightsaber and take the work of a moment to slowly push your lightsaber through even just a piece of this petrified coral that is thinner than your wrist. It has what in this
Super
game is
dense.
described as the cortosis
lava.
property. It cannot be sundered or breached or pierced using a lightsaber. It does not turn.
like
It
close
does
to
not
cortosis.
turn off a lightsaber, but it's got that Beskar
It's
Great.
like the door that Qui-Gon had to like
Yeah.
slow cut open in the Trade Federation. You know,
Exactly. It is a
he couldn't have slashed it open.
sturdy.
He had to like
Glad,
slowly
I'm
get it
glad
going.
that
This
I
is a
decided this.
strong material. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got
Fuck
that
yeah.
Beskar staff.
That may come in handy.
basically.
Yeah, you can
And now
really
you're gonna
wax
have
something.
to walk hours back up to the second
Nice.
vent there on the continental shelf. But we finish with you standing there in the gloom. There might be more properties about this thing once you've completed your journey. But at the moment, it is
That's a
just a
question.
two-handed staff that has the cortosis quality without the lightsaber turn-off effect of the cortosis quality. But it cannot be sundered or damaged with a lightsaber.
Because obviously a lightsaber gives off a lot of luminescence. Would the difference between the threat versus like a fail, like if it were 3 failure, would that be like the light attracted a big ass fish sort of a thing versus like
That would be despair.
I mean,
like
three,
threat
three,
that would be despairingly.
So
that
would a
happened.
failure attract something?
No, a failure would have meant you did not succeed at finding the thing you want. If you
Finding.
had honestly, 3 threat isn't enough, but if you had generated 4 threat, I would have felt completely justified in being like, it's 4 threat, you've got a fish to fight.
Light.
Yes, because 4 threat or a despair would have definitely meant something like that, but 3 threat isn't enough for me to start a combat encounter.
Anglerfish something.
Instead, it came in as, exactly, you're going to fight a big eel. I've got a whole bestiary worth of creatures, and I would have
Not
found
here to
some
fight eels right now.
appropriately sized
Need
fish.
for that.
It would have
Yeah.
been the fish.
I'm
It would
the
have been
underwater
one
puncher in the
step.
group.
It would have been one step down on the food pyramid from whatever Zeef is currently feeding, which is one step down on the food pyramid from what Zeef wishes he was feeding.
Yeah.
You know, you would have fought like a silhouette 3 fish. Zeef wants to feed a silhouette 5 fish, but is only
my
feeding a
fucking-
silhouette 4 fish. You would have fought a silhouette 3.
It's like
But you didn't have
a
enough threat to do
a
it.
true value
Fine.
Sando Aqua monster.
That's beautiful.
Well, there's always got to be a big
This
Earth
is my
fish, so you
Right.
can't feed
I
the
can't-
big est fish.
old snappy
Not immediately, right?
Moby Dick.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but you didn't. You. It's just very cold
Snappy
and dark,
is so
and
big.
you've taken a bunch of strain, and you don't get to roll to recover it because this was an encounter. But you have found your fucking non-breachable 2-handed melee weapon. There is a whole tree devoted to using 2-handed melee weapons. It is the Force Adept. It is the Chirrut Imwe.
Chirrut Imwe, I was gonna say
Um,
yes.
Chirrut
Fuck
Imwe
yeah.
got his own specialization in the Rogue One Rebels book, and it is all about using a 2-handed melee weapon to do silly things. So, yeah, you know,
That's interesting. That'll be interesting to look at.
exactly. I think we're gonna
Just send me
leave
at some
Narset
point.
there, and we are going to just briefly come back around the island again before we close, because Zavix has been riding into the city.
It's
with
been a good
Junior.
smooth ride.
With Junior.
Yeah, along the way, when Worram's ship flashed overhead, you were able to point it out and say that that was one of the competitors for the race that you're going to go talk to Spider about. And Junior seems to be in a good mood just based on the fact that you're here and working with Spider towards accomplishing something, whereas every time he talks to Zeef, it's a non-starter.
I would like to point out that he just talked to Zeef and got a particularly brutal dressing down, so he might be in a weirdish mood right now.
He is, absolutely. So he's particularly receptive to the fact that Zavix is, like, willing to work with Spider whatsoever, you know, and, like, is treating Junior like he's part of an organization that is worth dealing with, because he's really bought into this whole Hut Cartel lifestyle.
He's a
And
good
for
company
Zeef to
man.
be like, screw you guys, like, that's not, that was a blow to him. But you guys pull up out in the outer, area of the cartel compound there at the foot of the wide steps up into, Vork's many-chambered hut-style, establishment here. And we're going to end on you guys heading in, but I will give you, the camera to get a scene in here. for our tag at the end of the episode.
And Gonk is in the
we'll
speeder
leave
with
out
you
on
guys, right?
that.
Stomper came with you?
Yes, Stomper is too. So we close out on. We're going to close out on the scene of you, Stomper, and Junior getting out and ready to head in. Junior's been on his comm the last little way since you guys entered the city, and he goes, "I told Spider that you're making progress on the race. He's already communicated ahead. What you told him about success with getting the racetrack set up, and basically he knows that you're coming here to facilitate the cartel working with the expats. So Junior has let you know that the cartel does not like that the expats have brought the remnant, in, and they're generally displeased with the fact that the expat club isn't doing well, but just in general, like, it's bad for business, frankly. Like, it's really getting Spider's really in a pickle because Vork's been letting the expats do their thing. It was good business, good for everybody, but ever since this mess with the race, Spider really needs to get all this ironed out before the boss comes back. But,
Or even gets wind of it from wherever he is. It's possible he's being kept apprised of this without Spider really realizing how much Vork knows about what's happening in his absence. You never know.
Yeah, that's
If I was the
Or what
CEO, I would
Spider-
leave like some random plants in different departments to let me know some stuff while I'm gone. Not necessarily my chain of command either.
Well, Junior is your low man in the totem pole to get an in on that kind of stuff without actually having to talk to Spider, but we'll open on the conversation with Zavix and Junior heading into that meeting with Spider. That's the end of the session tonight, guys. Catch y'all next week.